What's going on, Lakers fans, and welcome into episode 46 of the Lake Show Flow. I am your host, Gio. As the Lakers unfortunately fall to the Thunder 136 to 120 in a game that ended up being influenced by the wrong forces at hand. The referee that got involved in this game tried to make it all about him. We'll get into that, but before I get into the game, I just want to say, if you're new here or you've been here, please support the channel, leave a like on the video, comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you are new. But as I said, what was a back and forth, just heavyweight boxing match, if you want to put it that way, what was turning out to be a great game, and the Lakers had to fight back. Not everything was going as pretty as it did in the prior game. OKC was going to come out and have a lot more energy after the Lakers blew them out in their own house. They didn't want to drop their third game in a row, so you could see the energy was there. And even going into the game, the Lakers, it wasn't even guaranteed that we'd see every player, the key players. It wasn't guaranteed we'd see everybody tonight, but closer to game time, a couple hours, they announced that everybody that was listed as questionable got flipped to probable. So we found out, okay, so most of our main players are going to end up playing, and they all did. And so I thought it was a good move. It was a little chess move by JJ. I think getting the guys reps against a team like OKC, the number one team in the entire league, I feel like that bodes well, especially if you have another competitive game or you even beat them. It kind of gives them something to think about, puts the league on notice. It kind of just, even if this isn't your full, arsenal that you unleash on them, I feel like it's still something to kind of, you could test the waters a little bit. And I thought the Lakers, for everything that OKC threw at them, the lead that they threw at them, I thought the Lakers did establish a aggressive tone in a lot of ways, whether it's just, like I said, responding to every blow that was given to them, and then also working their way back into the game, making it competitive in the fourth quarter, until we saw the referee take over the game. His name is, I don't even know if I should say his name, but you know what? If you want to tweet out things about this ref, petition it, maybe get the NBA's attention. I don't know. I know a lot of fans are already doing it. His name is JT Orr, and this guy has no aura. He took it upon himself to pretty much just ruin the game. The Lakers, they ended up getting up by one on a little fadeaway shot by Luka, and it seemed like they were coming back. It seemed like they were taking over. So they ended up going up 108 to 107, and to set the table here, Luka had already got a tech for, I guess, cussing at a ref. That's what they said after the game, that he had yelled a profanity at the ref, which is another conversation. We'll get into that about, how we should feel about Luka and the way he handles some of these calls or no calls and just the energy that he shows the refs. We'll get into that. But here's what happened. So the Lakers go up 108 to 107. Then he scores that fadeaway. He starts, I guess, a fan that was in the crowd, he said that his shot was short when Luka threw it up. The shot goes in. And apparently Luka turned to him. The referee happened to be kind of in his line of sight, but Luka was looking at a specific fan that was calling his shot short. It went in, and Luka ends up saying either "fuck you, bitch" or "fuck you, pussy." Yelling some profanities at the fan, right? Whatever it was, the referee thought that it was towards him. So the referee was putting himself in main character mode, and he took it upon himself to eject Luka and assess him his second technical foul. And so that was the last we saw. LeBron, everybody ran to the ref and tried to plead with him. And in terms of the process, I think when someone gets their second, technical foul, because that's an ejection, there should be a huddle. There should be, a conversation. I don't think one referee that's in his feelings or whatever his mindset was towards Luka. I get it. Luka complains a lot. Like I said, that's a separate conversation. But I think more of a process should be given rather than just, boom, you're ejected. You know what I mean? Because even if it was Shea, even if it was anyone else on the other team, even if we're in a playoff series against the Nuggets, you eject a player of that magnitude, and you pretty much determine, obviously the team that we have is good, but getting Luka out, that just sucks the life out of the team, out of the atmosphere. The game felt like a playoff game. The crowd was into it. There was back and forth moments, and the Lakers worked their way back, and only to get basically, arguably, their best player ejected from the game, right? So That sucked. And see, so after being up 108 to 107, the Thunder end up scoring. They end up on a 29-12 run, and that's when they beat the Lakers 136 to 120. So the Lakers only scored 12 points after the ejection, and the Thunder put up 29. And you could just see it. The fans were getting all hype. OKC was just going crazy. They were making everything. They were more aggressive. And Shea, I mean, he put up a good performance. I can't take it away from him. He ends up with 40 plus. I think it was like 42. So he had a good performance. But the thing is, the Lakers came into this game without Rui Hachimura. I said most of the players that were marked questionable ended up being probable, and they all played. Besides Rui, he was ruled out. I forgot to mention that. So Rui wasn't playing. Shea drops 42. The Lakers had a 1-point lead before Luka got ejected, and they lose. But the thing is, it's all about perspective. If you're really assessing this game, all those things had to go in the Thunder's way. A Shea 40-point masterclass, which he's done that a lot. A Luka ejection, and all that momentum. Them being at home for the second straight game. So think about it. If the Lakers were playing this team in the Western Conference Finals series, right, or even the second round, however things play out, the Lakers could have won game one on the road, shocked them, right? If you just put this in a playoff sense. Then in game two, it's a competitive game. Even though the Lakers aren't shooting as good, they still made plenty of threes. They don't have the best fourth quarter. They had to work their way back. They're on the road. All those things considered, the Lakers are right there against the number one seed in the entire league. So before I get into how I think, everything looked with this game and the matchup going forward, I just want to say there is a discussion to be had about Luka Doncic. And I was listening to the reaction from Shaq and Vince Carter, I think it was, and Candace Parker. They're on the TNT broadcast, right? They're having a conversation about how this should be handled, what Luka should and shouldn't do when he's arguing with refs. And Shaq said that Luka's known to be complaining a lot, and the referees try to do their jobs right, all this stuff. And he said that Luka just has to be careful. And Vince Carter kind of agreed too. And he said that, he does have to be careful because if he's talking, making them feel certain ways, they might be quicker to give him technicals, right? And Luka does have like 14, I believe it was. So that's a lot of technical fouls. I think if you hit 16, you get suspended for a game. I don't know if it carries over to the playoffs. Hopefully not. But the thing that stuck out to me was what Candace Parker said. And she pretty much said, this is kind of what Luka is. This is who he is. He uses this interaction between him yelling things at fans, interacting with them, whether it's friendly banter, I think it's not even like malicious. It's not like Luka's going to go into the stands and punch a fan the way like Ron Artest did back in the day when they threw that cup of whatever it was at him, right? So like Luka's not going to go into the crowd. He likes that shit talking, right? And that's what fires him up. That's what makes Luka who he is. That's what lights a fire under him. He's the most modest and quietly spoken guy when he's not on the basketball court. But when he's on the court, he's fired up. So hopefully in the playoffs, the referees aren't this damn sensitive. It was just, I don't know. To me, it was the softest stuff ever. Even Vanderbilt, he got a block down the stretch. He kind of got, a little fired up. He got into the guy's face a little bit, kind of stared him down a little bit. And the referees, they counted that as taunting, and he got a technical foul. So it was just everything that could go wrong just went wrong in those final moments. But like I said, hopefully the referees let Luka be Luka, because this is what makes him as great as he is. You take the 40-piece games with the side. You take the 40-piece nuggets and you take that with the side of the fiery fries on the side. You know what I mean? So if he's cooking, then you take that side of fries. When he's frying the fucking refs and he's frying the crowd, you take that every time. That's just part of the process, right? I just don't like when referees step in and dictate the outcome, because whether the Lakers lost or not wasn't really the issue here. We expected the Lakers to most likely, at best, split this series. They came out in the first game and they shocked everybody. They beat the Thunder handily on their home court, made it look like they were just the far and above better team. Their defense held them to 99. Even if you say that the Lakers shot a crazy, obscene amount of threes, the defense held them to 99. So what's the excuses there, right? They still made a lot of threes this game too, so it's not like an unsustainable thing. The shooters are wide open a lot of the time when Luka, LeBron, Austin are getting that dribble penetration. And Even tonight, they made 18 threes. So they set a franchise record in the last game with, I believe, 22, 24? I don't remember. But they set that record, then they come back and shoot 18. So the shooting is relatively sustainable to an extent, right? So they do the same things, but their defense, obviously, OKC was going to come out fired up. I didn't mind the Lakers losing this in the right way. But when you let a referee step in and he dictates how the OKC Thunder win, that's when it's like, damn, once Luka's off the court, I even saw some tweets from Thunder fans saying, oh, Luka's ejected, I don't even care about this win. Like, it just takes the meaning out of it. You don't want to see a team that's hampered by an ejection, an injury. You want to see teams at their best. You know what I mean? So, unfortunately, that's what it came down to. As far as Luka complaining, like I said, you take him cooking with that side of fire, right? You take that because that's what's going to make him great. That's what's made him great, right? There's a lot of people that get mad about him, getting himself in trouble in all these important games and all that. And I think in the playoffs, he'll simmer down a little bit. He might be still fired up, but if he knows that it's going to cost him a game, like he gets ejected or something, I'm pretty sure Luka will be talked to by JJ and some of the coaching staff, maybe the referees. He can talk to them before games and, let them know that it's nothing personal. I don't know, whatever he has to do. Let's hope that this isn't an issue in the playoffs. And honestly, like for the betterment of the team, I think him and LeBron and Jackson Hayes sometimes, some of these players that really like to stay back on defense on a fast break or take their time because they're trying to talk to a ref on the way down the court, then they get beat on the other end. Hopefully that kind of simmers down a little bit because, like I said, you'll take the technicals, you'll take Luka being fired up by his interactions plus the 40 points, but what you won't take is him not playing defense because he's arguing, or hampering the team's ability to win by getting ejected, right? In this instance, it wasn't really his fault. There's a lot of times where maybe it would have been. But for him to get ejected off of a soft referee like that just decided to just suck the life out of this game because he was feeling some type of way, like, I don't know, man. That, like, to me, that just sucks. That was just the worst type of thing you could do in this type of game. NBA, they wonder why the ratings are down. And I've seen a lot of people mention this, but you can't complain about ratings when you're enabling referees to take over these type of situations. There needs to be a talking to some of these referees about letting their emotions kind of like be in the back of their mind, not at the forefront. You're there to ref a game. You're there to provide, to make sure it's a fair game, but also recognize the entertainment value. Recognize that some fans come from all over the world to see the Lakers, to see Luka. Like, it's an expensive ticket. You're going to kick one of the best players in this matchup out of the game because you decided to think that it was about you. You decided to think that you were the main character in this situation. So that's my piece on the whole thing. I'm sure a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people kind of mention a similar rhetoric towards this, but it's unfortunate. And it kind of just makes the game more about that rather than, anything else I can analyze from the game. Because I don't know. It's like when LeBron got hurt against Boston. We didn't get to see if the Lakers completed that comeback on the road. We didn't get to see if the Lakers completed this and held on to control the game because momentum was swinging. And then Luka gets ejected and all the momentum, it seemed like everything that needed to go right for the Thunder after that just went right. So we'll never know what could have happened. But tomorrow night, the Lakers have to go to Dallas. They're probably already there now. So they're going to play Dallas. Luka's homecoming. That game's going to be full of emotion. It's going to be full of, just full of everything, right? And they already showed that against a team like OKC, they could compete with anyone, in my opinion. OKC's defenders are not big enough for the Lakers. And I already pointed that out in the last video, but I just had to bring that up again, is like the Lakers could beat this team. And as good as OKC is defensively, the Lakers pose so many problems. So I'm just excited to see. I just had to give that little side note. I'm excited to see if OKC does make it there and the Lakers make it there. I'm excited for the Lakers to have that. This almost ignited this rivalry for me. I feel like OKC is like, it's not really a rivalry yet until the playoffs come, but the Lakers have had some history. And I heard the announcers for the Lakers, they were talking about it. Stu Lance and I always forget the other dude's name. Legends on the call. They were mentioning how the Lakers actually have a history against the Thunder, and I remember it. I remember when they played the young Thunder with Kevin Durant, with Russ, with Harden. They broke their hearts in the playoffs when they weren't fully ready. I could see the same fate for this OKC team where they're not ready yet, because they ended up making the finals, but it was after the Lakers and Kobe and Gasol were kind of done with their run. That's when we saw OKC finally make it, right? So I could kind of see a similar fate. I remember Pau Gasol making a little tip-in off of Kobe's miss, and kind of similar to LeBron a little bit earlier in the season when he tipped in Luka's miss. But I don't know. That's going to be a series to be excited about. But as I was saying before I got sidetracked with OKC again, the Dallas Mavericks, they are fighting for play-in home court. Like, they want to win as many games as they can so that if they're in the play-in, which most likely they are, they get home court, because the West is tight still, right? The Lakers still need to win 2 of their final 3 games. So the Lakers need to win this game. The Dallas Mavericks need to win this game. And then you sprinkle on top of that the fact that obviously Dallas makes this huge trade. They get ridiculed for it. Even Mark Cuban was talking about how this trade probably would have never happened if he was still a majority owner. You have Anthony Davis, who obviously they asked him about if he has emotions. What are his emotions going into this game? He said no emotions, right? Which means you have a lot of emotions, right? So, and he's even said in little side interviews, he's threw out little subliminals saying like, I don't buy that nobody knew about this trade. Could be little shots at LeBron, even though they're cool and all that. So nobody really, I don't know. It's interesting, these players, they say stuff on the record. They sprinkle in little, subliminals. But then in reality, you're like, okay, when you read between the lines, like, are you and Bron as close? Because he said the relationship's been exactly the same. But if you think someone might have knew and he's your friend and all that, you don't see him as much as he used to. I don't know. And you try to say there's no emotion in this game. I don't know, man. So I think AD has emotion. I love AD. I don't even blame him for having emotion. I just wish he was more honest about it. When it comes to Luka, he's been a little more honest. I mean, everyone saw him get traded. Everyone saw the fallout from that and how he took it. You could tell he was really distraught. You could tell that he didn't expect it, so it hurt him a lot. He had a lot of love for Dallas. So this whole process has been something that has been well documented, and it's going to be heightened emotions. I expect Luka to step on that floor. When he's announced, they'll probably do a whole emotional video package. That'll be interesting to see. But I expect Dallas to go crazy for Luka, honestly. It could feel like just a little homecoming reunion. He might just feel right at home, right? And he can just go crazy on the court. Hopefully the Lakers make quick work out of it. That would be very preferable. But like I said, Dallas wants to win. They want to silence all the people, like AD especially. He wants to give the Dallas fans a reason to be like, okay, we lost Luka, but we got AD, So, and obviously if he has any animosity towards the franchise, towards LeBron, who he thinks might have knew about it, he might want to really stick it to the Lakers too. So there's a lot of narratives. I expect the Lakers to win because on paper, they just have a lot more healthy players, like all their main guys, basically. And when it comes to Dallas, they don't really have everybody healthy. They don't have Kyrie healthy. I know they had a lot of guys in and out of the lineup, like Gafford and Lively. I'm not sure if they're going to play. I mean, it is the Lakers, so everyone on that roster is probably that can play, will play. Even if they miss a few games before, they'll probably play. But I look forward to covering that game because, like I said, there's going to be a lot of visuals out there. Luka being on that court with a different uniform. It's going to be scenes, a lot of scenes everywhere in Dallas. And I'm going to be talking about that game tomorrow. But like I said, this game, unfortunately, it told us that the Lakers could compete with this team again. But it was dictated, the ending of it was dictated by one singular referee that decided to make it about him. And we'll never know until hopefully the Western Conference Finals, we get a clearer picture of what the Lakers can do. Because like I said, when things are going their way, when they're motivated, when they're hustling, when guys like Vando are stepping up and grabbing boards the way he was, you know how many boards Vanderbilt either got himself or tipped out? He got 12 boards himself, and 8 of those were offensive. He was playing his heart out. That was the guy that when the Lakers traded for him, that's the demon that they wanted to have. You know what I mean? So it was, like I said, unfortunate to not see the ending the way, it could have played out. But this series going forward will be interesting. Tomorrow night will be interesting against the Dallas Mavericks. Like I said, the Lakers need to win 2 of their remaining 3 games. Houston already secured the 2nd seed. The Lakers got to play them Friday. So I believe the Lakers could play all their guys on Friday if they know that Houston's going to rest, just so they could get the win. And then they could rest everyone on Sunday against Portland, and they'll get over a week until the playoffs start. So if the Lakers handle business tomorrow, as I believe they should, and they do a little Texas two-step and they beat the Houston the next game, the Houston Rockets, the Dallas Mavericks, Houston Rockets, they get that done. By the time they get to the Portland game, everybody could rest, and it's just playoff time. So the playoffs are about 2 weeks away, and I'm hyped as hell. I think less than 2 weeks now. So everybody just brace for this. See if the Lakers could just secure this 3rd seed. It's the seed they need, because they need to stay on this bracket so that they play OKC in the final round rather than the 2nd round. So if the Lakers hold tight, get these next 2 wins, or at least 2 of the next 3, then we'll see. We'll go from there, and they'll play OKC hopefully in the final series, open up the playoffs against possibly Golden State, the Clippers, maybe the Nuggets. Everything's just so close. The Timberwolves, those are all possible matchups. And then the 2nd round, they'll probably see either Houston, or if Houston gets upset, that'll be another easier matchup, quote unquote, even though all these teams are very viable. But like I said, I've been yapping my ass off. It was a lot to talk about. I'll have even more to talk about with the fallout of tomorrow's game. But like I said before, if you're new here or you've been here, please leave a like on the video, comment on the video, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, all that good stuff. But that's going to do it for the Lake Show Flow, and we'll see you guys next time.